We are awakening together. This is our weekly gathering we hold online. For more information, visit our website, awakening-together.org. We'd love to see you there.
Hello, I'm trying to work on my computer. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today and all of us here at Awakening Together. This is my first homily in the sanctuary, my first talk. So there's just all these sensations. And please forgive anything that is not done the correct way because of my ignorance. And I appreciate the love and support. And I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. Today's title is The Town Crier. The Seeking is Over. So I'm imagining myself with this big bell ringing, the seeking is over, the seeking is over. How do I get over the belief in the individual, right? And acknowledge that I am, truly acknowledge it at my core. The town crier, which is just everything in our life that is pointing to who I am, is here to shout, this is it. This is the now. No matter what my thoughts say. The town crier says, pay attention to what is real and let the dualism fade. Right now, we're going to greet each other in our chat with the song We Are Awakening, which has been written for Awakening Together. I really love it. So, Marisol? Our statement of purpose. We are an assembly of equals joined in common purpose, awakening to one true self. Within an experience of many faiths, many cultures, and many symbols, we seek to discern one truth and to rest in its embrace. The core value that I chose for today's service is core value number 3. We accept one true self, which is one presence or being, non-dual, without beginning or end, and absolutely changeless. We live this value by practicing letting go of the belief in the individual self as who we are. Our opening song is Hark the Herald, and oh yes, it's a Christmas song. But when you listen to it, when they talk about the newborn king, think about that being me, as in yourselves, me. And, Jesus has arrived. Think about it, that me, I have arrived. And as we listen to the song that way, it has a bigger, broader, more beautiful message. Marisol? I am here. I am now. I am open to the further spiral of the infinite, to the further exploration. But I accept that I am. I accept I'm the newborn king. And from this place, I will continue the exploration, the journey into the vast unknown. But I let go of the identity of I'm not there yet. And acknowledge I am here. So that more can be revealed. And that I may be pulled into truth, into knowledge, into stillness. John Wetzel has so graciously agreed to do our reading today, so I turn that over to John.
Good morning. Excerpts from Angelo DeLullo's Awake. It's your turn. Here's a common scenario I encounter when talking with people about realization. I'll be pointing in a very direct way to the immediate experience of natural reality, this place where unenlightenment has never tread. I can do this because it is already in their experience in that very moment, just as it is in yours right now. I know through the exchange that they get what I'm pointing to. More importantly, they feel the truth of their immediate experience. I can see and feel them relax and become more present. Then a moment later, they'll say something like, "Wow, I can't wait till that's true for me too." Usually I look at them and smile, waiting to see if they catch what just happened. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If they don't, I'll usually point it out to them. What happened in that instance is that they were experientially aware of unfiltered reality as it was unfolding in the immediate. This is an immersive experience that is not contingent upon thought. It is also not time-based because reality can only happen now. Then a thought formed in their mind and essentially said, "Wow, that sounds nice, but too bad I don't have it. Well, at least I can seek for it, and maybe someday I'll realize it." This is a common lure the ego uses to pull. This is a common lure the ego will use to pull our attention back into thought. I'm sure you can see how many assumptions were baked into that thought/belief. First and foremost, there's an assumption being made in that thought that I am a distinct entity moving through time, one that experiences external events. Further, there's an assumption that one event that I can experience is presence. Still another assumption is that the realization of presence will be not now. You can see that these assumed beliefs are contrary to the person's immediate experience of presence. Yet the pull of the thought stream can be strong. In believing that one thought, believing that it is my thought, and believing that we can find this omnipresent truth somewhere in the imaginary, thought-based timeline called future, we have totally distanced ourselves experientially from this immediate truth of unassailable presence and peace. If we were able to simply let our attention rest in the senses all the time, then this book wouldn't be necessary. The illusion of separation would be dispelled in a short time, and individual suffering would come to an end. Anyone who has tried to meditate for 5 minutes knows that it is not nearly that simple. Thoughts bombard us almost constantly until we cultivate some degree of clarity in meditative practice. And even then, they are frequent visitors. When I said bombard, that was a little misleading. In truth, our attention is directed into thought on nearly a constant basis. The thoughts are innocent. It is our addiction to them and entanglement with them that causes us trouble. I promise you that you have the support of every single being who has crossed this threshold into enlightenment. Their collective voices, echoing up through the millennia, are saying, "This is what you have come for." Don't hesitate another minute. Step through the gateless gate. Step off into the great unknown. Hearing stories related in the words of regular people somehow made it clear to me that this can and does happen. This shift occurred almost 25 years ago now. Yet the energetic essence of what happened is still there. It's never gone anywhere. In fact, it is far clearer and more integrated into all aspects of experience than it was at the time. That integration didn't happen overnight. It took a lot of inquiry, acceptance, and letting go. The work continues, although in a very different way now. This next reading is from NTI, Corinthians, chapter 7. A mistake that you make is believing that you are guilty for the imagining you do. I tell you, you're not guilty because you are imagining. You're not guilty because you're taking a walk through fantasy. You're not guilty because you have literally done nothing. This seems difficult for you to accept because you believe the world. You believe the world is real, so you must be guilty. Can you see the direct connection between your belief in the world and your feeling of guilt? Can you imagine for a moment that the world is not real? Can you imagine it as fantasy or a made-up daydream? When you imagine this, really feel it. Feel the world is not real. And when you feel it, do you see how your feeling of guilt goes too? This is what I am telling you. The world is illusion. It is not real. Heaven has not changed because of this imagined experience. And so you are not guilty. Because you are not guilty, you are free. I have told you before how loved you are. You have felt this love and known it. This love that I speak of, which you know as God, came to be known to you from within. This love that touched you and moved you with holiness came into your awareness from you. And this love you knew was real. You felt its comfort and you recognized it. Nothing in the world can comfort you and love you. The love that comforts always comes from within. You always feel it there and know it there. You may credit something in the world for having caused it, but that is a mistake. The love came into your mind and filled your awareness through your willingness to know yourself as love. This is the meaning of God. It is a love that lives and fills every being with perfection from within. This is your truth. This, which you have known, is reality. By all of this, I ask you to look again. Look first in your heart and find God there. Then look at the world. Know that all the hearts, at the deepest core, are the same. Then look at the world. Feel God. Feel truth and look at the world. Which one is real and which is illusion? Which is your true desire? Which do you want to be and extend? You know the answer. The answer to my question is your truth. What do you seek above all else? What you seek above all else is your truth. You, in your reality, are the answer. Open your heart and welcome yourself. You are the truth that you seek. And in welcoming yourself, you welcome your brothers, and you welcome all that is true about the world. All that is not true is let go. Because that which is not true is meaningless. In this way, you rest in God. When you rest in God, your truth is welcomed. And the following excerpt is from Bernadette Roberts' Path to Know Self, the introduction. What the unit of life is, then, is an active, progressive death to the small s self. The same self that is in partnership and oneness with God. The true self, in quotes, hidden with God in the deepest center of being. But with the final disappearance of this unit of self, we come to the realization that where, at the beginning of unit of life, complete loss of self could only be known in a transient experience of full union, ecstasy, or total suspension of the faculties. Here, at the end of the unitive stage, the loss of self becomes a permanent reality, a reality made possible by a life of practical, selfless giving. Thus, a final and complete loss of self is not achieved by ecstasy, spiritual marriage, or by any such comparable experience, but rather by years of such selfless living that without satisfaction accruing to the self, small self, the self must die. That which makes the selfless giving possible, however, is the self's initial union with God. Outside this union, this particular type of giving is not possible. Thank you.
Thank you, John. That was beautiful reading. We all truly appreciate it. So, Angelo says, when we go into that space, and I invite all of us right now just to fall into that stillness, that silence. And we might notice thoughts running through, but that's okay. We could still feel that stillness. And can we find a beginning or an end to that? And why I'm here, although there are no words, how would you describe it? Peaceful, quiet, still. This is it. And to dive deeper, to spiral upward, I have to acknowledge that I am. The seeking has to stop. And I keep seeking to get someplace. And the only way I'm going to continue into the unity, into consciousness, is to admit, is to acknowledge, is to realize that this is, that the now is what's going on right here. But as Angela pointed out, we're in this space and then thought comes in. Well, but my now is a little bit different than their now. And it's not really as good as, say, Regina's now, and definitely not as good as Angela's now, right? John Austin did an exercise with me, and I did just a little bit of it with you. When you were talking about what it felt like to be in this now, what words did you use to describe it? And when I was doing this exercise, I thought, or I was telling him, I said, it's stillness, it's peaceful, it's beingness, it's infinite. Yeah. And then it dawned on me. I have heard all the other gurus describe it like that, but my brain connotated peacefulness as something much more glorious than this peacefulness that I'm feeling right now. My brain connotated stillness and awe much more differently than right now. And so what I was doing is I was comparing my experience of now to what I heard explained out there. And not only was it what I heard, but it was what my brain connotated, what my brain thought others were saying was going on. And if and I keep using the word I appreciate you guys, or invite you guys to keep using your word I, bringing it back to I. If I let go of everybody else's description, I can admit I am peace. I am infinite. So that's where the town crier comes in. The seeking's over. I got my big bell. Seeking's over. Stop. We're here. It is. So why am I afraid to admit it? Well, how will I keep seeking if I already am? And do you know what? When the seeking is let go of, it becomes an exploration of what I am. It becomes a journey. It's beginning to lift off layers. Oh, you mean I could actually be I am and still have layers? Yeah. And if you look at everybody else, all the readings that we read and people that we look up to, they keep telling us over and over and over and over again, oh yeah, you know what? The next time when we go into that deeper dive and then it's all clearing out and then we have a whole nother rush of emotions slap us in the face, it's because we're clear. And yet we sit here and we go, well, you know what? I can't be this if I'm still feeling emotions. Yeah, well, I hate to break it to y'all, but I am this And I still feel emotions. And that is what is so glorious about it. And these emotions become cleaner and cleaner and cleaner, but they're still there. My body still is. I am not going to transcend the body and assume into heaven. The body is part of this beautiful existence of stillness. Why am I afraid of admitting who I am? You know, I had a previous experience and it was glorious. It was full of light. It was full of love. It was the ultimate realization. And I have never been able to get back to that ever since. And I'm really trying. That's why I can't admit right now to who I am, because I know it's not this, because I had this back then. I am never going to get back to that glorious experience, because the next time a glorious experience happens, it's going to be in the now. And my brain is not going to be mushing it up to be the best thing that's ever happened, because now is the best thing that's ever happened. And now is sometimes kind of boring. And now sometimes it's kind of like dealing with partners and spouses and kids and finances and life, gardening. But it's now. And it's my brain that is judging the now as not glorious. Can I see that? It's my brain that is judging gardening as not sexy, that is judging doing the dishes as so normal. But if those thoughts weren't there constantly, what an experience. But wait. I could be in the experience and then boom, I could be thinking about how my husband is late. That doesn't make me awake. Well, you know, it's a thought. I realize it. It might be 10 minutes later, but then I come back to now. I have to give up this idea that it's later on. I'm working towards it. I'm going to get there, eventually. I'm trying. It takes lifetimes to get there. It doesn't. Everybody tells us it doesn't. I should start listening. Huh. But you know what? Teachers warn me about spiritual ego. And if I admit or acknowledge, even in the midst of awakening together forums and classes, if I were to admit that I was present, if I was now, if I was love, what would happen to me? That's my brain again. Spiritual ego is funny. And I think it's also ego that is keeping me out of actually being now, actually admitting, recognizing this stillness, this beingness that encompasses absolutely everything I do. That's not spiritual ego. That's honesty. Oh, but wait. My brain can say, but when I'm honest, I'm really not there all the time. I'm only there when I meditate. Shut that off. Right? That's thought we keep hearing over and over and over again. Quit listening to thought. But why am I so afraid to admit who I am? I'm just not worthy. I'm not good enough. I grew up Catholic, and there's a part in the Mass that said, Lord, I'm not worthy to receive you. Only say the word and I shall be healed. Right? Too bad I'm not worthy. My ego is not worthy. Those thoughts in my brain aren't worthy. And I'm not saying don't do the work, because I've done a ton of work and I'm continuing to do a ton of work. And just the last exploration on Wednesday night that Sharon and I did, we were really exploring this whole nothingness, like letting go of nothingness. But it was that first step of admitting of who I am that allows me to actually further delve into all these other thoughts and beliefs that I am not worthy. I'm not able to get there. When I stop seeking and admit I realize truth, right? We were all there. I am the truth. The opportunities to be pulled deeper expands. Right? I keep saying I want to be in non-duality. Well, guess what? I have to admit it. I have to admit I recognize truth for that opportunity to continue to expand. When that happens, the personality no longer has control of awakening. Angelo says in his reading, during this experience where in meditation or when somebody guides us, we are exceptionally unaware of unfiltered reality because it's an immersive experience. So anytime I am thinking, this is really cool, I'm not here. Anytime, it's not the immersive experience. Immersive experience is the sensation. So I'm in this sensation. I'm in this peace. And then a thought forms. That happens to all of us. Then the thought forms. It's a common lure of the ego, he says. And it's based on lots of assumptions. Okay, so there's the thought, but I'm believing it. It's this hook, right? Because a thought is like sensation. I could let a thought just pass through, but I believe this thought. Oh, and first and foremost, it's a belief that I is different than the immersive experience. It's a belief that this is different than the beingness. It's also an assumption that truth, reality, presence is not now, is what he's saying. But that's so contrary This is in his what he's writing about. He says in this reading, even though we're thinking that's not now, this beingness is not now, it's contrary to the experience. Right? It's contrary to the experience. But the pool of this thought is sometimes greater than the pool of beingness, which is okay. We're not making judgments. I just want to bring it into my awareness, into my attention. Again, just like everybody else that we've listened to, I promise you, he says, that you have the support of every single being who has crossed this threshold. Yay! Don't hesitate another minute. Step through the gateless gates, right? Accept the mantle. Plant your flag in the sand. I am. And step into that great unknown. I'm going to jump into Bernadette, and I love her. But she's talking about the complete loss of little s control. It's a transient experience. And then she says, here at the end of units of stage. And the reason why I chose this part of the reading is because even Bernadette is pointing to the fact that it's a process. I'm acknowledging who I am. I recognize self. But it's this process then. It's this journey, right? It's the unfolding. She goes on to say that we begin to realize that it's not ecstasy. It's not this spiritual marriage or any other comparable experience. So what my brain is thinking truth and knowledge is, it's not. And the only way I'm going to get there is to stop trying to get there and recognize who I am. It's the self's initial union, she says. And with this initial union, you need that or nothing else is possible. It's imperative that I stop seeking and admit truth is recognized, self is realized. Doing this affords the opportunity to be pulled deeper, to spiral upwards. The personality does not have control over awakening. Everything that tells me I'm not awakened is personality. So yeah, Sharon, you beat this dead horse. But how do I start to relanguage around this, right? I can't go around going, I'm awakened, everybody, I'm awakened. So how do I relanguage around this? How do I admit it, but still keep the process going? Maybe stillness is recognized and the continuous unfolding of the infinite is welcomed. Maybe saying, you know what? It's the deeper dive. Or saying, you know, I'm playing in the upward spiral. Because again, it's imperative that I stop seeking and admit truth is recognized, self is realized. Doing this affords the opportunity to be pulled deeper and spiral upwards. The personality does not have control over awakening. Everything that tells me I'm not awakened is personality. So our song for contemplation today is an instrumental. And I invite you, as we're listening to the song, to do the deeper dive. And when thoughts come in, let them come in. Don't even push them away. Just recognize them as thoughts. And stay in the beingness, the I amness. During this time, there's also an opportunity for donations. That's how Awakening Together receives most of its support. We'll have a link in the chat, and there will also be the QR code you can focus on. But welcome into the song for contemplation. So we have about 6 to 8 minutes. I have a patient of mine. She laughs at me. She calls me, I run like a German passenger train on time. So I have my little, we're staying on time. But we have 6 to 8 minutes for community sharing. If anybody would like to say anything or share about today's gathering, you're more than welcome to. Yes, Kelly, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sharon. What a beautiful, clear message. I really, really loved it. And one of the things that came to me was, as you were sharing, you articulated something so clear for me. I remembered the saying, "In the world, but not of it," and and in my mind, that switch to where to start thinking about it as not of the world, but in it, and doing that piece first. And that is the switch that I felt like you were asking of me as I go through my day. And we're in 500 days, and it also occurred to me that Regina puts in these exercises, and that's exactly what she's pointing to in what we call these walkabouts, right? Where we throughout the course of the day, pausing to acknowledge the truth of our existence, and acknowledge the truth of who we are, and then, still go about the day. But we have to start with that. We have to finally make that decision that this is who I am first. This is who I am first. And then the rest can come from that. So I really appreciated it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly. Anybody else? Yes, Sean.
Wow. It's funny, Sharon, I've known you for quite a while, and I didn't realize that this was your first homily. And it's quite beautiful. This concept, it's very funny. Nothing happens in concepts. The reality of this being that which I have been seeking for. I've heard it for so many years, and it's just kind of like sinking in now. And Sharon facilitates my Gentle Healing 3, I'll just call it a class. And one of the things that has been becoming very clear to me is the value of quieting the mind. Not like I have to be quiet, fend off this thought. It's like, oh, there's the quiet and there's a thought that comes in, and just seeing it and then letting it go. I mean, it sounds so basic, but right now it's just very strong for me. And I appreciate that clarity and how it's come about. And there's so much less pressure now than there was before to get it right. I can't have this thought show up. That's not my freaking piece. It's getting in the way of it. And now it's more like, okay, I'm going to see what it's like to see the thought, let it go, and continue on this walk that I'm on. I've been practicing it when I go on a daily walk, and I try to do it, when I'm sitting around my house, but sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't. But there's no longer the pressure of getting this right. So anyways, I wanted to thank you for allowing me to read for you today, and to say how much I appreciate you and everybody here. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you. And then Rita, right? Has her hand up. Pia, Rita, I can't see. My glasses are.
Here I am.
Yeah.
And thank you for the humbly, I think you say. I want to share something from Regina's book, Out of Stillness. And can you spotlight it? So this is Regina's text from page 521. Oh, thank you, Regina. Can you spotlight it, Marisol?
Yes, we all see it, Pia.
Aha. Yeah. Isn't that great? Thanks.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. I appreciate it. Miss Shauna.
Sharon, my deepest heartfelt path walker with me. I don't know how to say that, but it was so beautiful. A couple of things that really struck me was asking me to look at what the fear of acknowledging what's here right now, the I am that is here right now. And I felt into that. And one of the keys you gave me was pointing to the ways to say, that it's here now. So, and allowing the process to continue. And that's what the key unlocked this resistance, this fear within me right here, right now, of saying, oh my God, this what is here right now is it. Oh my God, stop seeking. It's right here, right now. And continue that allowing of the unfolding, of saying yes to the unfolding of it as life is experienced through this character. Life will continue to experience through this character. And can I feel the awe of that and the raw feelings of that, and be honest with what's happening right now while the deeper dive happens, while the melting into the mystery and the unknown happens, and to notice when something here wants to control that or say no, all that energy that happens constantly, that thinking that happens constantly, the overlay, just allow that. But as Kelly clearly said, and Regina has taught me this, first thing in the morning, and Anne has taught me this, first thing in the morning, what's my intention? Can I be this? Can I live from this? Can I give it all over to this? Can I allow being taken over by this? Every moment. Can I surrender to this? So thank you for giving me the key, some key that unlocked some unseen resistance and fear. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Shauna. Thank you. I want to thank everybody for being here today, for the support and love. Thank you for being. Thank you for being open to the message. Thank you for accepting who I am, who I am. Totally grateful. We are going to have fellowship afterwards, and I'm looking at my time. It's 10:28. Do we have time to play for the final song, or do we just close?
We can play your song if everyone's okay, going over a little bit. It'll
Okay.
take 2 minutes.
So the final song is There Is Only Love, right? So I Am Love, There Is Only Love by Karen Drucker. Thank you. All right. Love. Hope to see all you loves at fellowship. Thank you so much. Marisol, back to you.
You've been watching our online gathering. It happens weekly on Sundays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. To join us live in the sanctuary, visit our website, awakening-together.org. You'll want to click on Online Sanctuary in the main menu, and then in the drop-down menu, look for How to Enter the Sanctuary. Right there at the top of the page is a clickable link. We'd love to see you in the sanctuary and join with you in fellowship. Thank you again for watching. Also, please know that if you'd like to stay connected via the Awakening Together channel here on YouTube, you can subscribe and hit the bell for more notifications. We hope to see you in the sanctuary.